Hi there, I'm Miss Andrea Esker, and I'm one of the seventh grade English Language Arts teachers. We are going to take turns doing the lesson for each unit, so you'll have a different one of us each day. So today I'm going to guide you through Unit 1, Lesson 1. So today we're going to talk about plot and setting. So I would encourage you to take notes throughout this unit when we get to these pages that say notes at the top. You could do this in several different ways. I know a lot of you have notebooks that you didn't fill up last year. Maybe you could go grab an old notebook or grab some paper that you'll keep together, or perhaps open up a Google Doc to type all of your notes in for Unit 1. However you learn best is fine. So these terms are hopefully review. So I'm hoping you're like setting, oh yeah, setting is the time and place of the action. So I would encourage you to write down setting, time, and place of the action. And if I'm ever going too fast, go ahead and click pause, get caught up, and then keep going at your own pace. Now, for the setting, the time could be the time period, as in a specific time in the past, or maybe it's present, which is right now, or the future. It could also be time of day or time of the year, like maybe it's a cold winter evening in December. Okay. Setting is also the place and a description of the environment around that place. Now, for the characters, I think you all know who the characters are, but you might not realize that sometimes the characters might even be imaginary creatures. Characters are the people, animals, or imaginary creatures who take part in a story. So again, I'd encourage you to write that down. Characters, the people, animals, or imaginary creatures who take part in a story. Now, plot is the one that throws more people off. Do you remember what plot means? Plot is simply the series of events in a story. The series of events in a story, or overall, what are those main events that happen? Now, plot can be broken down further into a plot map. In your notebook or your piece of paper, I would ask that you make a plot map that looks something like this. So go ahead and make that plot map, hitting pause if you need to. And we're going to label each part. Do you remember what this first part's called, where they give you background information, you learn about the setting and the characters, and you start to get a general idea of what's going on? That's called the, if you said exposition, you're right. Go ahead and label that first part and put exposition. Then as some inciting incident happens to develop a conflict and it's building, and there might be some up, down, but we're still building toward the peak here. This whole part is usually the longest part of the story, and it's called the rising action. Good. Then this part is the most exciting part. Everything has built to this point, and it's the turning point of the story, because you'll notice it was building. Well, then it's going to come back down, and usually the character changes here. This most exciting part is called the climax. Draw an arrow and label this peak as the climax. Then when it starts coming back down, the suspense is easing. This is called the falling action. And then this is not actually called the end. What is it called when the loose ends wrap up and the conflict is resolving? It's called the resolution. So label those 5 parts of the plot, and we're going to go through them in a little bit more detail. If you feel like, that's good enough, I got it, you don't have to write down these next parts. But if you're like, I could use the review later, go and fill these in. It's up to you. So again, the exposition, that beginning part, provides background information regarding the characters, the setting, the time period. It kind of sets the stage of the story. Then the rising action shows how the conflict unfolds. It becomes more complicated and it builds suspense. So we want to know what's going to happen. Then the climax is the most exciting moment and turning point in a story, and it often results in a change for the main character. Then the falling action eases the suspense and reveals how the main character begins to solve the conflict. And then the resolution is when the story's problems are solved and loose ends are tied up. If you're taking notes on this page, go ahead and click pause and finish up. And then we're going to move on to your assignment. Today you're going to watch one of my favorite Pixar shorts called Knick Knack. Now, before we get to the actual directions, though, I want to show you how to open up your assignment in Schoology. So if you could please go ahead and open a new browser and type in mattoon.schoology.com. Then you're going to click Courses, and you're going to click your English Language Arts course. Now your teacher might have a banner up here or something, but scroll down until you see this folder that says Unit 1, Elements of a Story. And go ahead and click on that folder for me. Now we'll have more lessons in here each day. Usually we'll expect you to do one lesson each day that you have ELA. So today we are on Lesson 1, Plot and Setting, so go ahead and click that. Now you'll see the main lesson is always going to be here first. So if you need to rewatch this video or you want to look at any of the slides again, that's here first, the lesson. But what we want is the assignment. So go ahead and click Assignment Plot Map for Pixar Short. Now it's going to bring up the copy of it in Google Slides, but you're not going to be able to type in this yet because this is still the teacher's copy. So you need to make your own copy. So you need to go to File, Make a Copy, and then go ahead and click Entire Presentation. Again, File, Make a Copy, Entire Presentation. Then it's going to bring something like this up in the center. Now I need you to change two things before you hit OK. First of all, right here it says Copy of. Delete that Copy of off and go ahead and type your name there. So if my name were John Smith, it would say John Smith, assignment, plot map, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I also want you to change the folder to your ELA folder. So you'd click My Drive and change it to your ELA folder. Now, some of you might be saying, I haven't made an ELA folder yet. If you haven't made folders for each of your classes, I'd encourage you to do that. And I'm going to show you how to make one for ELA right now. If you don't have any folders yet, click on My Drive. And then this button right here will add new folders. So go ahead and click that button. And then you want to call it ELA. So go ahead and backspace off Untitled Folder, type in ELA for English Language Arts. Then click this blue button to create it. And then down here, you want to go ahead and select that folder. Okay. All right. Then after you have both of these things changed, so your name is here at the beginning of the name and it's in your ELA folder, go ahead and click OK. And then it should bring up your actual document here. And you can type in it and everything. Now, you're going to do you're going to watch this Pixar short 2 times. What I'd encourage you to do is to watch the first time and pay attention to the climax, okay? Because that's the biggest part of the plot. So what you need to do is you click on this link and then you'll see it appears with the YouTube link below. So you'd click that, watch it the first time and pay attention to what's the most exciting moment in the whole thing. And then after that, the action starts to come back down. So watch it, and then you would click here in this box. Notice we already have the text box there. And then you would say something like, the climax was when, and then you would fill in what you think the most exciting part was. After you've identified the climax, then I think it'll be easier to go back and fill in the other parts. So watch it one time, fill in the climax, then click it and watch it again. Then go back and say, okay, well, the exposition was blah, 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 how they gave you the setting and the characters and the background information. The rising action is usually the longest part, so summarize the biggest things that were happening as that conflict was building and building and building. You'd already have the climax finished, and then type in a summary of the falling action and a summary of the resolution. We will discuss this plot map at our next class Google Meet for ELA, so please make sure to watch that as many times as you need to, but I'd suggest twice, and fill in this whole plot map so you are ready for our ELA discussion. If you have any questions, please go ahead and email your English Language Arts teacher, and we're happy to help. Good luck.